Top 7 news stories the Canadian media refuses to cover this week. Trump joked with Trudeau during dinner in Mar-a-Lago and said that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the US, then perhaps they should be annexed. Trump is trolling Trudeau on social media with a meme about Canada becoming the 51st state in the US family. Let's just say, I don't feel the love loss. Do you? Singh is such a complete sellout. He claims to represent the best interest of Canadians, yet he rejected a motion of non-confidence in Trudeau. The guy is desperate for his pension to kick in 2025. He'll do what it takes to keep Trudeau in power. What do you think? There are pro-Palestinian rallies in Canada that are very scary and worrisome. Trudeau was happy to freeze bank accounts of hard-working truckers, but lets these folks close streets, wreak havoc, and spread anti-Canadian sentiment. Listen to this.
Canada is a white supremacist, colonial, racist project, as is Israel, as is the state of Israel. So I don't even consider myself to be a Canadian because this is Indigenous land and this land is occupied. So the people who are here, whether they are settlers, we firstly need to educate ourselves about what has happened on this land and what is continuously happening in order for us to be able to understand what our government or this government is doing abroad.
Canada Post is on strike for 2 weeks now. Who is hurting the most? Small business in Canada is estimated to have lost $1 billion Canadian. Imagine not being able to ship Canada Post during Black Friday season, one of the most important seasons for retail. Shouldn't our politicians be more concerned about the impact on small business? Peter St. Ange, PhD and independent journalist on X, reports that the Canadian nightmare continues. As per capita, GDP shrinks for the 6th straight quarter. It's hard to overstate just how bad the 9 years under the Trudeau government have been. Don't take my word for it.
Canada's Justin Trudeau nightmare continues. In case you think Joe Biden is bad, spare a thought for our cousins to the north. Last week, Statistics Canada announced that Canada's per capita GDP has shrunk for the 6th consecutive quarter, despite jumps in government spending that continue the Sovietization of the Canadian economy, courtesy of Canada's most famous cosplayer, Justin Trudeau. Just last month, the Bank of Canada, their Federal Reserve, was predicting 1.5% growth. The number came in at 1%, and thanks to the flood of migrants pouring into Canada, it dropped to minus 0.4% per person.
Angus poll says 3 in 10 Canadians, 28%, say they're giving serious consideration to leaving their province of residence due to the housing affordability. This number rises to 39% for those who have lived in the country for less than a decade.
I mentioned how Canada now has West Virginia salaries and San Francisco house prices. To buy a house right now, the average Canadian mortgage would cost 48% of family income. In Vancouver or Toronto, it's closer to 70%. A recent Ipsos poll found 7 in 10 Canadians agree that, quote, Canada is broken. An Angus poll found 42% of Canadians are considering moving to another country.
Retirement savings are wiped out. With a 30% increase in the cost of living, Canadians living paycheck to paycheck have had to make hard choices. Canadians saving for retirement have seen over a decade of investment growth wiped out in terms of buying power. Trudeau must go. We can help you manage these turbulent times. Call us here at McGuire Financial and we'll help you deal with these complex changes and make sure your retirement plan doesn't get wiped out by Trudeau's mistakes.